almost 50% of women say they've tried at least one method to try and start labor at home. There are many methods to kick off labor induction. You've probably heard of spicy food, sex, wonky walking, massage. Another that is very successful and evidence-based is nipple stimulation. Nipple stimulation is to encourage the uterine contractions, help the uterus contract after birth, and help even strengthen or slow stalled contractions during labor. Nipple stimulation and induction of labor using that nipple stimulation to bring on labor isn't a new invention, my friends. For hundreds of years, midwives have been using this practice to speed up labor when it has slowed or stalled. In those days, if labor was very long or if it was not progressing or if there was going to be harm to baby or mother, with the midwife's innate wisdom of natural processes to assist with labor and birth, it was handed down through generations of women observing and supporting normal birth. Nipple stimulation for induction of labor. After you give birth, breastfeeding your baby will stimulate your nipples to trigger the brain to release oxytocin. This is a hormone that stimulates contractions of the uterus, helping return it to pre-pregnancy size. Oxytocin also plays a very important role in labor and birth. Contractions open or dilate the cervix, then push the baby down through the vagina. Medical inductions are usually restarted with the synthetic form of oxytocin, which is Pitocin. So how long after nipple stimulation does labor start? Just because you are starting nipple stimulation does not mean labor is imminent. It may be slow to start. NIH did a randomized control trial in 2005 and found that nipple stimulation increases the chances of a labor beginning. There were 720 full-term women that were assigned to either stimulate their nipples or to not stimulate. Of those women, almost 38% went into labor within 3 days of beginning the nipple stimulation, compared to 6.4% of the women who did not do any nipple stimulation. Now, another study from the same research group at NIH looked at nipple stimulation in low-risk first-time mothers. From 38 weeks, half of the pregnant women massaged their breast for 15 to 20 minutes 3 times a day. These women gave birth at average at 39 weeks plus 2, so 39 weeks and 2 days. Can nipple stimulation cause fetal distress? That is another common question. If nipple stimulation is so effective, why isn't it more widely known in practice to induce labor? The main issue around safety for the baby, nipple stimulation can cause what is known as uterine hyperstimulation. This is when contractions happen too frequently and last too long. This can lead to baby becoming distressed and requiring medical interventions to be born safely. This is why women who are using nipple stimulation are told to alternate breaths rather than stimulate both at the same time, and to pause during contractions. In several studies, such as this one, where women were low risk and their pregnancies were full term, please take that into account. Using your thumb and forefinger, gently massage the areola, which is this darker skin around your nipple. This stimulates nerves that trigger the release of breast milk when a baby feeds. It can be easier to massage inward towards the nipple. Now, starting with your thumb and forefinger at the areola, and gently roll and pull down at the nipple. This should cause the nipple to become erect. This encourages the trigger of oxytocin as it mimics the sensation of a newborn suckling at the breast. Now, number 4, continue to stimulate the nipple for no more than 15 minutes. Recommended amounts of time to stimulate varies, but the general consensus is 15 minutes maximum to avoid injuring the nipple and hyperstimulating the uterus. Next, you will want to take a break for anywhere from like 2 to 4 minutes. Then repeat the above steps on your other nipple. Swapping breasts avoids hyperstimulation of the uterus. After you've waited another 2 to 4 minutes, repeat on the original nipple. Repeat the process for up to an hour. If contractions don't start, stop and try again later, up to 3 times per day. Once you feel contractions begin, stop the stimulation and let your body take over. This is when you need to trust the process. If the contractions stop or stall, you can use nipple stimulation 4 or 5 minutes per breast to increase them. You should stop stimulating if your contractions are 3 or less minutes apart. If your nipples feel sore and tender, you may find that lubrication helps to ease the discomfort of your nipple stimulation. You can use coconut oil, a natural nipple butter. I love Earth Mama nipple butter. If you are finding that you are expressing any breast milk or colostrum when you are stimulating your nipple, you can use that as a lubricant as well. Now, there are many benefits of this stimulation for induction of labor. Nipple stimulation may reduce the frequency of elective labor induction, reduce the rate of relevant complications as a result of labor induction, support normal vaginal birth, provide better outcomes for those birthing persons and their babies.